in another phase of our life,
We are.
and we don't know what to do with
It's
it.
like,
So
is it another phase? It's almost like a game. Like, do we just keep leveling up? Is that what it is?
yeah, I mean, of course, we just continue to learn, continue to evolve like we always have. So, but this is an interesting time.
It is interesting. So, do you want to explain more about what you're talking about?
Sure. So obviously, we have let you guys know that Annie and I were both married before. We have his and hers. And of course, when your kids are growing up, there's always the challenge of splitting Thanksgiving, splitting time on Christmas, so forth and so on. And we have just recently kind of moved into this new realm of sharing that we're unfamiliar with. And so that is when your adult child, I guess, moves out, or maybe even before they move out, but when they move out, and they have a significant other, whether it be girlfriend, fiance, wife, husband, whatever it might be, and you're back to sharing them again on Thanksgiving, which is the reason why we're talking about it, because just last week it was Thanksgiving, obviously, and Jackson came to our house. And then Ashley stayed at her parents' house. Ashley, of course, is Jackson's girlfriend. We ended up doing our lunch, I think, around noon, and I think Lynn and them ended up doing their lunch around like 1 or something like that. But we had family over at our house. They had family over at their house. And sadly, we didn't get to see Ashley that day. I think Jackson may have gone over to Ashley's house, her parents' house, after eating over at our house or whatever. But had Ashley come over to our house, unless she was there 32 seconds after everyone left, I would not have seen her because I was KO'd.
Hold on.
Set the stage. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this because this really, I
You
guess,
set
kind of
the stage.
affects
Like, you
you.
basically just said all of it.
Well, no, but I set the stage, but I didn't necessarily say how we felt about it. And so, given that Jackson is yours primarily, I would be interested in hearing your thoughts on this and how did you kind of deal with it internally last week?
Well, I don't think I really had to deal a whole lot with it internally because this year he did in fact come, over for Thanksgiving,
That's true.
and he was here pretty much where everybody else was. Matter of fact, he had to be because he needed a ride because his truck because his truck had a flat tire. Do you hear him?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's his "I'm stuck" growl. He needs to be pulled
No,
out.
he doesn't.
Yes,
Let's
he
go.
does.
Hey, the
And
show must go on.
and
He needs to understand
so
that.
I didn't really, feel any type of way other than Ashley didn't get to come over or whatever. And I think had maybe the weather been different, I think it probably would have been different because they had both of their dogs over. I can't do this. I can't.
They're going to hear him on their.
Oh my god, I can't.
Let's get this joker out.
Okay,
Take 3.
Yeah, take 3.
We had a talk with the dogs, but apparently Lincoln wanted to be in the spotlight today. Wonder
Right.
where he gets that from.
So sorry about that. So we have this white couch up here in my office, and it's a white couch we've had for 8 years since we've moved in here. Well, it's like a 2-piece. It's like huge cushions, but it's like a 2-piece. And so, everybody's jumped on it, sat on it, plopped on it, whatever. So over the years, the bottom has sunken, of course. And, big boy, he got a belly on him. He got more Bichon body than Blakely does. And
We do not fat shame him though.
no,
We call
do
him
not.
strong.
We do not. He's a little thick. And so his little belly, he gets under that couch. He likes to crawl under the couch, but then he gets stuck because the couch is
But he does
low.
it every time. Makes zero sense.
He does do it, but I think he somewhat does it for attention. But
I don't think that the wood's not low. It's just the fabric hangs down, and I think
yeah.
the fabric touching him freaks him out.
I don't know. I think the whole seat sinks down.
Okay.
Anyway, we agree to disagree. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Anyway, he can't get out. It literally cannot get out. We have to lift the couch off because he doesn't somehow know to go backwards. But
So it was rainy.
okay, so it was raining and yucky the day before, and so it was very soggy and wet. And we had 10 or 12 people here, and then our 2 dogs. And had we had the 2 big dogs, it would probably just been too.
We did have 2
much.
visiting dogs though.
We did. We had 2 dogs that just absolutely bum rushed the front
It was
door
crazy.
and came in just barking and full on running around the house. And then you got Blakely feeling like she's being chased. Lincoln's actually doing chasing of those dogs. Those dogs are barking. They run. They get some water. They go find their dog bowl. I chase them off at eating their food, and then they we've kind of usher them back out the door. So
It was our neighbor's dogs, and they barked at each other through the fence all the time. But I think maybe once, maybe twice, have actually seen each other. But apparently, the wind blew their fence open, and when my dad and Linda were coming in, we just hear this barking, and I just assumed they brought
I
their
did too.
dog.
I was like, this is very weird.
I thought they brought Harley, and then I'm like, whoa, no, that's not Harley's bark. And then there's a second bark, and so anyhow, it was a little bit of a ruckus there.
It felt very Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, but to their defense, Jackson and Ashley's dog Odie apparently has introduced himself into their neighbor's house several times as well.
Yes.
In fact, I think he has gone and jumped on their golf cart while they've driven by the yard. He's just gone and jumped and made himself at home. They've had their mother over there before, and I think she's sitting in the living room eating or something, and Odie just comes in there and just walks straight through the front door and sits next to her. So
he knows no strangers, has no fear.
Yeah.
And he's a flight risk now. He
God.
wants to just take off and run. But anyway, so it was just a little bit too much to be in the house, and then to have them on the back porch, like I felt super bad. Like everybody's going to be inside, our dogs are going to be inside, then they're outside. Like it was just too much. And so anyway, Jackson sent me a picture of Odie later, and so Odie is the same color as Blakely. He does, mostly white with a little bit of brown still in him, and his big old paws were just solid dark brown, like complete dark brown. And I was like, oh,
that's the reason that we didn't want them over here.
Right, exactly.
One of them, yeah.
Anyway,
but
so,
like grand dogs, to a certain extent, are like grandkids.
yes.
I mean, we will tell them, look, tonight's not a good night. I mean, we're not going to say that about grandbabies, but
I hate it. I hate it because Blakely is scared. She immediately is. We can say I can say the dog's name, or Jackson, or Ashley. Honestly, any of them. I say any of those names. She immediately starts getting spastic and starts jumping like up to my waist, like pick me up,
catch her in the air, yeah.
And Lincoln gets nervous, and he and Odie, I think if Lincoln were bigger, he would love playing with him, or if Odie were smaller, one of the two.
Yeah.
But Odie wants to play with Lincoln, and the way Lincoln plays with Odie is basically like he growls and kind of snaps back at him to like.
That's his only defense, because Odie's literally 10 times bigger.
Yeah, and then it causes Nellie, which is Jackson's black lab, the hair on her back raises because she then thinks Lincoln's like being mean to Odie, and like we're afraid that she might snap at Lincoln. And if she snaps at Lincoln, it's not going to be good. Like it's going to be very dangerous, possibly. Yeah. And so, it just makes it hard. So usually when we have them all together, it's easiest to go outside. Yeah. And then we have the fence, and so it's easier to be over here. So anyway, long story. Nobody cared about that, and I'm not even really sure how it related, if it did relate to what we were talking about. But anyway, so no, I didn't really feel like that this for Thanksgiving, but Christmas, I do wonder how that is going to impact. But you're right, it is a different stage of life. So when the kids were younger, it was a constant, having to split time. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are listening that had to also split time with their children, with the other parent, their ex. And the way that you and I did that was very different as the kids were growing up. It was a very different situation. One, because Jackson's dad, was 3 hours away. And the other reason is that, like Thanksgiving it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, yes, I would like for you to be there. Speaking of the devil, you've got to be kidding me. There he is calling in. No.
Do y'all remember on episode 3 when I said that they talk to each other multiple times a day, every day, and she swore up and down,
that's the first time.
No, we don't. It's fake news.
That would be the first time I'd be talking to him today.
I swear to you, every single day. Which I'm not hating it. I just made a point in episode 3, and she disagreed.
That's how strongly I manifest and how much we are connected. Just because we are speaking about him, he knows, and therefore he is calling.
Okay, well, Elon Musk. You must get Doge up to like $100. If you get Doge up to $100, I'll be a multimillionaire, which I need. You need you to make that happen, Elon Musk. So anyhow, the way that we chose to do it, I guess, at Christmas time in particular, is
Now let's start with Thanksgiving because
Okay.
it used to drive me
All
crazy.
right.
So the way Thanksgiving worked is she would have Lauren basically up until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then Lauren would come over to be with you, and that's pretty much the way that it was every Thanksgiving. And it was just so over the top, I felt like, and so frustrating because I can remember every Thanksgiving, every single Thanksgiving, the text was, or when you spoke to Lauren, now don't eat too much. Don't eat too much at your mom so you can still eat over here. And I'm like, what does that matter? Why does that matter? Why did it matter? Why did you feel the need to have to say that?
Well, because I think that, well, first of all, there were times where we being our entire family, would not eat until 2 or 3 o'clock when we felt like she was going to be there. We didn't eat at 12 o'clock because I'm like, well, hey, I'm not going to be able to get Lauren until 2, 3, whatever. And so we would naturally eat a little bit later for years. I'm not saying every single year, but when everyone has already partaken, because a big part of Thanksgiving is eating together, eating as a family, the fellowship that you have, cutting up and sitting around a table and that kind of thing. Like, that is what Thanksgiving is about. And so if she showed up and everyone had already eaten, and maybe we were all tired at that point, or maybe it was almost like she was an afterthought. And I never wanted her to feel like an afterthought, even though it just naturally kind of worked out like that. And
Well,
you
that's
could
not her
say,
being an afterthought. You're telling her don't eat too much at your mom so you can
right,
eat there. So how
right, meaning when you get here, I want you to sit down with everyone else, and I want you to fellowship with everyone else, and I want you to be as much a part of it. But that, and when she got here, like, she had already eaten, she wasn't hungry, so it was like, okay, she's just kind of sitting around while everyone else is eating, and I don't know, it just didn't sit. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Does it make sense? No. Do I tend to overcomplicate things? Maybe.
all the time?
Um, Even though I feel like I've gotten better at that.
Always.
But that's, I guess, kind of my reasoning behind it is I wanted her to feel as much a part of it as anyone else felt. And if she was not, even if it's something as simple as eating, I mean, if she was not participating in that, it made me feel like she was not a part of it as much as everyone else was. And eating at Thanksgiving is a big deal. I mean, it's half of Thanksgiving.
Right. So do you feel like you were telling her to not be a part of your mom's Thanksgiving then? If that's the case, you're telling her don't eat too much or don't eat so that you can eat
No,
here.
I don't know. Maybe I was subconsciously. Maybe I was saying eat a little bit there and eat a little bit here, so you can be a part of it over there and you can be a part of it over here. I I don't know. I mean, hindsight. I mean, sure, it was probably trivial, I
I mean,
guess.
I guess
But
hearing what you're saying makes sense. And we've never had this conversation. I've never asked you that because I just was like,
you would just get frustrated by it and think
well,
it's stupid.
first of all, I never said anything about it, and I never really got frustrated at it, other than the fact that it was the constant back and forth text between the two of you. Because then you played that game. Okay,
Yeah.
well, is it time for her to come over? Well, no, we have to do such and such. Well, okay, so when am I going to get her? Oh, I don't know. It's going to be another
Where are we
hour.
meeting? Am I
Oh,
coming
where are
there?
we
You
meet?
coming here?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was
I
just
get
like,
it.
well, it's easier for me to do this. Well, it's easier for me to do that. And but I'm just like, oh my good God, like this is stupid. What should have been a basically 1 to 2 text situation or phone call turned into, we got a text about this 28 times to
Well,
figure it out.
I think that was, beyond just Thanksgiving. I mean, that was pretty much any time a decision had to be made. That's the way it was. But that's neither here nor there. That was the reason why I was always like that about it, because I think that the eating part of Thanksgiving is what Thanksgiving is about, and I wanted her to be a part of it.
So, do you think it would have been easier had you just, like, every other Thanksgiving, like, she was with you, and then every other Thanksgiving she was with her mom? Because I know there's probably some people out there that's how they do it.
I actually talked to someone the other day who said that that's what they do, or they actually, one of them gets everybody on Thanksgiving, the other one gets Christmas, and they kind of split that. And I don't know, like I like messing with Christmas. I think even more than we did. I think would be weird to me. But no, I mean, hindsight, sure, either that or you just you hope that you would have a good enough relationship with the other person that where it wouldn't really matter. but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. So, and then of course too, like Lauren, I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, she is always been a little bit more challenging to communicate with and kind of get stuff out of her. And so I think instead of like kind of having that conversation, I think sometimes you felt like you needed to tell her what to do or how to think, or and I think naturally that probably come across in, well, don't eat too much at your mom's house because I want you to be able to eat over here. Probably come across a little bit came across from just not being able to have that really engaging conversation with her, to know where her head's at and what she's thinking and yada yada yada. So, and then of course too, I mean, that was also the point where no matter what I said, it wasn't the right thing. So, that didn't make things easier either. So, but yeah, I'm glad we did Thanksgiving the way we did it. I think we kind of talked about that on the last episode. We've done the whole old times thing and all that stuff.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was good. It was a lot of work. I didn't realize, which it's not just, I'm not the only one who does all types of cooking, but this was the first year. Well, I mean, I feel like I've done it before, but I think maybe I made more this year than I have in the past. Yeah. And so it was that day before, damn, I cooked for 8 hours. I'm like, what in the HE double hockey sticks?
She was like, we're going back to old times next year.
Right.
So no, we're not. It's one day.
God.
It's literally one day.
So I have realized that next year I need to start on Monday and let's pre-make things and not try to do all of it on Wednesday, because
we're taking bets right now.
Yeah, between Tuesday and Wednesday, because doing all of it on Wednesday, that was a lot. That was a lot.
Well, you have to remember too, you were also just kind of coming off of your Winter Wonderland thing too, and that was a lot of hours.
It was, and trying to clean the house and all that good junk. So, but anyway, at the end of the day, I love having Thanksgiving here. I'm really glad that we did it. And by 5 o'clock, the kitchen was clean. You would have never known Thanksgiving had even happened, and so that was fantastic.
Yeah, my sister insisted on us doing throwaway plates, which Annie and I are in our Save the Earth era, and I was like, hell no, we're not going to do that, blah blah blah. But
it turned out to be good, because we've got an issue going on with the dishwasher where something's not working correctly. And I don't even think that was the case. I think it's just it didn't get turned on, or I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so
the point being is 5 o'clock, everything was cleaned up.
And 5 o'clock, everything was cleaned up. It was nice, and it was nice that I didn't have to clean up a bunch of dishes where I was cooking, because I really was just putting stuff in the oven at that point on Thursday and getting everything baked or cooked or whatever, not mixed and put together and everything. So anyway, so that was good. And so these jeans, I really do enjoy these jeans, but these are very big holes, and my legs get stuck in them and just keep ripping them further and further and further. So, yeah, and, for Thanksgiving for us, it was just, I don't 100% remember. I think Jackson probably...
I feel like he always just went to his dad's that next weekend or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he really went to his dad's for Thanksgiving, now that I can think about it, just because he was a 3-hour drive away. Or, maybe he did go the next day or something. It was just never really that big of a deal that I can think of. I can just always think he was always with us for Thanksgiving. Christmas was a little different. And I have a hard time remembering all that.
Well, I don't remember how it actually, the first year, but basically what we ended up doing was we would celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we talked about this last time, actually. Okay. Now that I think about it.
So we'll just recap real quickly. We would wake up in the morning on Christmas Eve, do our Christmas from Santa, from each other, yada, yada, yada. With the kids, yeah. And then that evening, we would do it with my family, whether or not it was at our house, Dad's house, whatever. And then after that, so let's just call it 8 o'clock at night or whatever, I would take Lauren back to her mom's house so she could wake up on Christmas morning at her mom's house.
Yes.
And they, she would spend the day over there and everything. So that's really kind of how it worked for us. And so naturally, because Jackson, even with Christmas, I think, would go to his dad's Christmas Day, maybe the day after or something like that. So we weren't necessarily tied to the timeline with him. So the Christmas Eve thing just kind of worked out, and that's just become the new norm for us.
It has, except, this year we don't know how that's going to work out. It's going to be possibly different because
Yeah.
Ashley has always had Christmas morning at her parents' house, and Jackson's always had Christmas Eve morning with us. And so, Lauren's like, "What are we doing this year?" And I'm like, "I don't know, honestly. We're just gonna have to kind of wait and get there and see what happens."
So that's part of the kind of the conversation we wanted to have, and maybe just kind of get some insight into what you guys do. But like,
Not
what point do things change when you have adult kids?
Right. As much as it's not just like when do you celebrate? It's okay. So now because Jackson has officially moved out, he no longer lives here. And he has a girlfriend who eventually would be the spouse or whatever. Do you say, okay, what we used to spend on Jackson is now split in between him and his spouse, significant other, whatever however you want to say that, or do you just add that additional amount and spend that additional amount on the spouse, the same, just like you would any other kid? Like, I know you're looking at me crazy. And so we've talked about this with like our friend group as well, because they all have, their kids have spouses and their kids now have also kids. And so then when you start, coming down another layer.
Yeah, I think once grandkids get introduced, I think the kids pretty much they're nicked.
See ya.
I think that
long.
they might get a gift card to a restaurant, and we'll watch their grandkids
Oh
one night.
Wow, you're really
But
chopping
I mean,
it off.
once you get because
Johnny K at least gives you $100. You don't
Okay,
get a
well,
gift card to a restaurant.
a gift card to $100, gift card, whatever the case may be. But I think when you have grandkids, that changes the game. But to me, and I'm just making up a number here. Let's say that if your kids grow up and you're spending $1,000 a kid, I think when they get
That's a lot.
well, again, fill in the blank
Okay,
with
whatever.
whatever number you want.
You just happen to fill in 1,000.
Okay, 500 then. I don't give a shit.
Go ahead.
So $1,000. Let's keep the math simple.
Okay.
I think if they have a significant other and they are in a serious relationship, moved out, whatever the case may be, I think it's pretty much split down the middle.
Okay.
If it's 1,000, so and so gets 500, so and so gets 500.
So so does that split happen when they move out, or is it when they are officially like engaged or married?
All the above. I think if
all-
they're engaged,
all of those situations.
well, first of all, if they're married, they're going to have moved out.
Okay.
Second of all, if
well,
they're
no, that's not always the case.
most of the time. Well, I see where you're going. Yeah. Sure, that could happen.
Let's not put that into the universe.
Okay. If they're engaged, chances are they're in a serious relationship. I would say that counts. When it comes to boyfriend and girlfriend, that's where it gets a little sticky. I think it depends on how close you are with them, how long they've been together, so forth and so on. So I don't, but fiance and marriage, yes, I agree that those are 50-50. The only time I would maybe see making the exception is if there was like a big ticket item that one or the other wanted or needed. I would not feel in. So for example, let's say that we're going to spend $1,000 on Jackson and Ashley, and Jackson needed or Ashley needed something that was $800. It is not going to hurt my feelings to get the $800 item and the other person gets $200.
Okay, so what if we decide to do it this way, but Ashley's parents don't, and they give Jackson what they've given him every year, but yet they spend all their money and give Ashley the same kind of Christmas that she's always had?
Do not care.
Not our problem?
Not. I mean, we've not bought our.
It's going to be a problem.
We've not bought our gifts based on Lynn and Tony up to this point anyway.
Yeah, but if you're taking Jackson's Christmas and splitting it with Ashley, then Ashley still gets her own Christmas that she's always had.
Yeah.
How's that really fair to Jackson?
So Annie, you will see, has issues with what's fair to Jackson. We've dealt with this.
Listen,
we've dealt with this.
This is
his
what's
entire
fair
life.
to the both of them, Jackson
Okay.
and Lauren. What I have done for Jackson, I have done for Lauren.
She's very, very serious about that. But so to me, like that's irrelevant. Like if we both had FU money, sure. If we had FU money, I would. If we're spending $5,000 on each kid and we add another $5,000 for Ashley, it wouldn't bother me at all. So it's not even about Ashley or Jack. It's just about you got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I
this
mean?
this is interesting. This will be interesting. Because we've already spent, Lauren's already set the bar of what's being spent because I got her Christmas present 3 months ago. So, and she already knows what she's getting.
What are you getting, Lauren?
Mega Ronnie tickets.
Mega Maroney tickets.
So
Lauren likes to sit in here when we're doing this podcast.
Yes.
Which is better than her being downstairs and the dogs can't figure out where they want to go. So we're not complaining about it. So, but anyways, I would be interested in hearing, like, especially people who might have kids that are, in their 20s, 25 and above. They've moved out, have gotten married. I mean, we're getting into this new territory that we're just not really familiar with. And I'm not saying that there's a right way or a wrong way or anything, but I would love to know, like, has anything backfired on you guys? Have you done anything that's just worked out really well? Is the 50-50 the way to go? And then, down the road, when they have grandkids, my position is the kids are done at that point. And then it's
Well,
then
do
it's
you
all
remember,
grandkids.
like, so what did your parents do when you first got married? Like, when you moved out and you first got married, what did they do? And then I assume there was at least one Christmas, probably, you guys, before you had Lauren.
I feel
And
like
then when Lauren came around, how did that work?
I feel like, and again, I can't really say for sure, but if I recall correctly, I think that it's similar to kind of what I'm describing, and that if they spent, again, I'm just making up a number, $1,000 on me, it now gets split between two people. Because a lot of times, when you get a house and you're married, I mean, the stuff that you want or need, it's kind of a shared gift a lot of times anyways.
Yeah.
If it's a new dryer or a new couch or a new whatever.
Please do not get me a dryer. I don't
Well,
care how badly I need
again,
one.
the point just being, like, a lot of times it's something that both of them
I know.
are going to
Can
get
we
together
also
anyways.
talk about the fact that it drives me crazy. Do you know what I'm fixing to say?
No idea.
Huh?
There's so much I do that drives you crazy. I have no idea.
For Christmas, when you tell me,
You talking about when I ruin a surprise?
No, well,
Oh,
no, you
you
do.
talking about when I say stuff like I need socks?
Yes. You could put that in my stocking. Fuck that. No, those are not stocking stuffers. If it is something you need, a basic need, I'm not going to buy you toothbrushes. I'm not going to buy you underwear. I'm not going to buy you socks. I'm not buying you t-shirts. I'm not doing stupid stuff like that to put in a stocking for stocking stuffers.
Well, first of all,
go buy it.
right, but I don't typically buy that kind of stuff for myself. And so there's certain times where it's like, okay, I could use some new socks. And I know that, like, stockings are a big deal to you.
Stockings are a big deal to me.
Right. So, like, don't be buying me dumb shit for my stocking. Buy me something I'm gonna like some Bomba socks or some new underwear or, some
Socks
Duke
were a
Cannon
bad.
sock.
The socks were a
so
bad example because
Okay.
we do like the
the Bombas. We
Is it
we used to be Stance fans until we
Stance.
switched to the Bombas.
I like
Bombas
the
are the
Bombas
shit.
are thicker.
Yeah, and that's the only. I mean,
cushier.
Stance are good socks too. Don't get me wrong. We've
I'm
worn
wearing
them
my
for
Stance
years.
right now, actually.
But Bombas to me have kind of taken over because they are thicker and they're a little bit more cushiony. So, but stockings has always been important to you. Like when I was growing up, stockings were cool to us, but like we would get candy and fruit. Like, oh, an orange.
Fruit.
Oh, an apple. It was like, but that's
Got fruit in your
we
stocking?
might get some little chiclet gums. We get some M&Ms and we get socks. We get underwear. I mean, all this. I mean, you have to understand, like, most of the stuff that I do and say,
I know.
it comes from the way I was raised.
I mean, I know the same, and that's why I think my mom and Gary didn't celebrate Christmas, so I didn't have Christmas with them at all. So I got nothing up there, and so Christmas was, if I got Christmas, it was down at my dad's house, and the stockings were a big deal. Like stockings were, like our stockings were like, I feel like my stocking was like 30 pounds.
Yeah, well, imagine how heavy fruit is in a stocking.
Actually, and now that I pick Lincoln up and know that he's 17, it probably was
And I don't know
probably
if-
more like a 10-pound
I don't know if it's called yarn or what.
yarn.
But the thing about a stocking that's like an old school, so when you have an orange and an apple with some rolled coins in there, like it stretches out like this far. I mean, it is.
Right.
I mean, because it's just weighted down so much. But
I love a stocking.
so let me ask you this then. So you're a December baby. What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
I thought so, but I didn't want to say it wrong. But I'm not great at that kind of stuff. But anyways, So your birthday is in December. So,
Yes.
you always hear people talk about, oh, woe is me.
Not just December. I'm 9 days before December, and I have a brother who's 2 days
She
after.
meant to say 9 days
Not
before
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yes, 9 days before Christmas.
I was
So,
like, you can't be a December baby.
yes,
if you're
and
9
my
days.
entire life that has sucked. So
Yeah.
if you have a December baby, a December friend, a December birth in your vicinity, you need to spend just as much time and effort on that December person as you do anybody else. If you have a friend who you do stuff with in June, then you need to do the same. You need to make the time and do the same things for these December birthdays because it is not fair. Most of us, our entire lives, we have been told, we just don't have the money. Like, oh my gosh, like there's so much to buy. Or, we've spent so much on Christmas. Or we don't have the time because we've got all these parties to go to. Or, hey, here's one gift. It's your birthday and your Christmas. Well, you know what I say to that? Fuck you.
So let me ask you this. If someone were to buy you a nice gift, it can be whatever. Fill in the blank. Someone were to buy you a nice gift.
Should be two.
Okay.
It should be a nice one for my birthday and a nice one for Christmas.
Fair.
Don't spend the same thing on me for Christmas that you do, let's say, somebody else, and then yet you also get them a birthday present mid-year. That's not fair. That is not. I don't care. The birthday, it doesn't change. It's the same day every year.
So you can plan accordingly.
You can plan accordingly.
And as you should.
As you should.
Yes. So my question is, let's say that there was one nice gift.
Okay.
And let's say you still get a nice gift for the opposite.
You want to know, do I want it for my birthday or I want it for Christmas?
Correct. If you had to pick.
I think for Christmas. I think you should do the birthday, whatever you do any other birthday for anybody else.
See, okay. I was about to say, you can make me feel bad for not doing a cake this year.
Well,
because I thought you were going to say you should do what you do for every other birthday.
I mean, you should feel a little bad about that, but I don't.
Okay, so here's
cake, so
here's where I
fine.
need help, and I think I already know the answer to this.
No, you already know the answer. You didn't order the cake. I'm not getting the cake. It's fine.
No,
That is
first
fine.
of all, it has nothing to do with ordering. I still have time to order it if I want it.
I don't think so.
No, I would, but because I have done it this late before. But the point, so the cake,
that's why she charged you so much.
The cake that I have always gotten her, it's a great cake, but it just doesn't get eaten. Like we literally maybe eat half of it, and she eats 80% of that half of it. So it's like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like a waste of money to me. But that's neither here nor there.
And see,
but the
to
question
hear
I
you
have,
say that hurts my feelings just a little bit.
well, you literally say the same thing.
I don't say it's a waste of money.
You say it's absolutely not necessary. Do not get me a cake this year.
Exactly.
See,
And I don't say that about
this
a
is
whole
the
lot
bullshit.
of things.
This is the bullshit that men go through. This
That's
is not
right.
a Kent
If
thing.
you really want
This
to
is
show
not a
me you
Kent
love
anything.
me, then you ought to know
This is
when I
such
say
bullshit.
it's
I hate this.
unnecessary, that means it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, so I think
But I understand you didn't get it this year, so it's fine.
I think you have already answered my next question. Then.
What's the
My
next
next
question?
question would be: I need somebody to weigh in, and ladies in particular. And I think y'all are going to dog me on this, but Annie says, "Babe, I don't need anything for Christmas this year. What I needed was to do Winter Wonderland,
And I did.
and it made me so happy.
And it did.
And it made me so happy. You don't need to get me anything for Christmas this year.
Correct.
So, is that bullshit? Is that as much bullshit as I don't need a cake this year? Like I live in a constant state of confusion. I live in a constant state of mixed messages and everything else. And you would think after as long as we've been together, I'd have it figured out. And I really do, because I will start feeling bad, and she's going to get what she wants, whatever.
You should
whatever.
not. I want for nothing. Like, there's really nothing that I want.
Right, but
and
you're
the
bullshitting.
same with you.
You're wrong, though. You're wrong.
I really think this year we should wrap empty boxes and just have something to unwrap. Because honestly, like, I need nothing. There's nothing that I need.
I need a few things.
What?
Something I can say.
Huh?
I think, honestly,
Lauren's weighing in here.
y'all helping me out with my not the Christmas for kids, but the kids will love. I think that is like probably more than enough. Cause y'all done I don't know what all y'all bought. I know y'all bought a bike,
We bought bikes.
But
That was
what-
it. And some other stuff too.
some
But yeah.
other stuff, but like, I feel like that's probably like the best Christmas thing y'all can do besides just buying me and Jackson gifts, really.
So we should spend it on other people's, what you're saying.
In my opinion, yeah. For kids who aren't able to get Christmas, I feel like they should get that.
This one.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
one.
That Jackson, Lauren just spoke. Neither of you. She's already gotten hers, so she said spend all the money we would spend on you, on other kids.
Yeah, she says that now that hers has been ordered for 3 months now.
Right.
No, but this kind of gets back to, I think I shared this on the last one where, Lauren, this is her first time doing the angel tree. And she come back from work and was like, hey, I did the angel tree. I was like, awesome. That's cool. That's cool. She got not one, not two, not three, but four kids. And we're like,
kids. I was like, what?
We're like, Lauren, that is genuinely sweet. I
It's too
can't,
much.
I can't say enough about it. I said, but you're not in a position to do that. I said, now, and I think Annie brought this up. Now, if you want to take two of them back and make sure that the two you keep get a good Christmas, all about it. And so she did that, and I think she understood where we were coming from. And so we basically said, if you do this for these two girls, we'll kind of help and we'll get some other stuff for them too. So hopefully they will have a great Christmas. But it meant a lot to me for her to think to do that. No one had to tell her to do it, and she spent her own money on it, so forth and so on. So it was a proud dad moment.
That's I think that brings, a lot of joy to be able to help others out like that, because I mean, I like the idea of Christmas, and I do like getting a gift, but we all have so much, and what we don't have, we typically just go get things,
yeah.
right? So
now that being said, what I would find more enjoyment is if you and I just had a shopping day.
Yeah.
And not like go crazy, but there's just a few things that I want, a few things, but because like shopping days have always kind of been
it's our thing.
like our thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And whether or not I had anything to open on Christmas Day, it would not
Exactly.
mean anything to me.
And it's the same thing.
I would
And
make
we're
sure you
not-
had your stocking.
We're not right. The stocking is what I do. I do like a stocking, and the birthday is not. A birthday is a birthday. We don't go crazy on birthdays. We really don't do a whole lot for each other at all. If
One
anything.
person in the family orders 7 fried rices from Mikada's, but other than that, we don't go too crazy.
That was just this one.
But he got adult money.
So anyway, and to be honest, like our kids really don't want for anything either. There's nothing that there's
Why do
typically
parents
nothing that
feel-
they say that they have to have.
Why do parents feel the need to spend? It's just the way it's always been.
It's hard. It's just hard. It's
like
hard.
I know for a fact, my parents could not afford the Christmas they used to give us.
Yeah.
I mean, because look, when we were growing up, Kmart, Zayres, all those places, they used to have layaway. You remember layaway?
Yeah, layaway.
Like they would be paying for this stuff for 6 months ahead of time just to build and don't get me wrong, I was incredibly appreciative of it. I always loved our Christmases. Angie and I, my sister, we got to talking about videos the other day, and she just shared a couple of them that were very memorable to me. But my dad used to always have the camera rolling, and every year we would sit and watch our own Christmas videos for just hours and hours and hours and hours. So I have always, when it gets around Christmas time, I've always kind of had that Christmas spirit and love family and movies and all this other stuff. And so anyhow, I say all that to say like there's so much pressure on parents to do more. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but we all do it, I think.
Look, I only ask for like one, maybe 2 things every year.
Okay. Lauren's trying to get in on this episode.
She sure is.
I'm just teasing.
We're gonna have
I really
to.
don't ask for a
This is
whole
gonna
lot.
have to be a closed studio from now on.
But that was a
No
thing.
audience.
And that was a thing where, because we talk about split families and all that stuff. That was one thing that I really, really struggled with when Lauren was growing up is,
You did, yes.
I would buy her stuff for Christmas, and it doesn't matter what it was always met with something better from the other side. It could be, I'm going to get a nice pair of shoes, and then there's a better pair of shoes. I can get her a purse, and there's going to be a better purse. I can get, nice coat, and then it's going to be, I just remember that always, it just kind of perpetuated that feeling of never feeling like you're good enough or doing the right thing or whatever. And I remember that I struggled with that for hell, damn near her entire life. You know what I mean? That we had Christmas, and then it gets to the point where it's like what's the sense in even buying anything? And so that was a real struggle for me. But yeah, I mean, it's parents. I mean, obviously we want to give the best we can to our kids, but it's just Christmas has just gotten crazy. I mean, everything's gotten crazy. I mean, when you think about like these promposals and stuff you see on TikTok, which, by the way, I reached a new milestone on TikTok today, so I can officially start going live and I can officially start selling stuff out of the TikTok shop. So y'all better watch out. Yeah, boys on a mission. But no, it's kind of crazy to just kind of the over the top stuff that we all feel obligated to do. And as parents, Jesus, one of these dogs just farted.
Oh, wow.
Good gosh. I'm sorry, y'all. Take over.
It is tough, and I am, I think you always want to do for your kids. You always do, and you always want to help them financially, I think, in any way that you can. And it's hard.
So anyhow, we would love to hear from you guys. Like, what do you do when your kids are adults? We got grandkids when they move out. Like, we need some guidance in this because.
Well, and it sucks as they get older too. I mean, that's the thing about Christmas is it sucks because they start telling you, well, I want this and I want that. Well, there's what's enjoyable about Christmas is the surprise element, and there's zero surprise element anymore, almost for anyone. And that's where it goes downhill to me. It sucks. Like at that point is like, what is the point?
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because like if Johnny K, my dad, was like, hey, I'm gonna get you a Christmas gift, no telling what it'll be. Although one of the best gifts I've ever received was the Battery Daddy. And he and Linda, I think that was Linda's idea, but that was clutch. But
if you have a son-in-law in your life or a son or somebody that has like their own apartment, that's a great gift.
Dad's great. I mean,
all of them. And not just giving them the Battery Daddy. Like go to Sam's, go wherever.
Get good batteries. Huh?
Yeah, get good batteries and fill it up. I mean, hell, that's expensive to fill up a battery daddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we spent $60 on batteries the other day at Sam's.
But that's 100%. Everybody that has gone to that Battery Daddy has said that's a fantastic gift.
But anyways, so you can snatch up a good gift every now and again, but you just never know. It's like rolling the dice. Or you can go the route and say, okay, what kind of gift card do you want?
Yeah.
That's a safer route, but it's like, okay, I know I'm going to be opening a gift card from Lowe's. I know I'm going to be opening a gift card from Academy. So it's your damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you get some whack stuff, you're like, man, I wish I would have gotten the gift card. You know? But what we tried to do last year with nephews and kids and all that stuff is we did the name pulling thing. I can't remember if we talked about this or not.
We did a Secret Santa,
But
it wasn't so secret.
It wasn't secret because it was like, here are the 3 things that I want. And it's like, I mean,
we're just all like trading money at that point.
We set a dollar limit, and it was just like it just completely took the fun out of it. So we're trying to figure out what is the best way to do this where you're still not spending the crazy money, but
you're also not getting a stupid gift. Like I don't have a problem with white elephant. Like I know a lot of people sometimes have a lot of problems with the white elephant gift. Like we used to do it at work all the time, and it was like you spend $20 whatever, and you sometimes would come home with a complete and total piece of crap. Like
most of the time
that didn't really bother me. I thought it was fun to watch that, but. Okay, so people like you get pissed that I spent $20 and I came home with some makeup brushes, but you got a $20 gift card to Outback, let's say. Like that $20 doesn't seem equal, but that necessarily doesn't bother me. But, I don't want to just waste my money on an elephant gift that I think actually probably would be a lot of fun. Even if it's a gag gift, it would be a lot of fun.
I think we need to clarify like the money limit and whether it's a gag gift or good gifts.
Yes, we're not talking about our Christmas right
now.
So I'm gonna need the audience to be quiet, please.
Lauren's not gonna be allowed in here anymore.
Yeah.
So if this is not a live audience podcast,
right.
So if you guys have any ideas on how you maybe have fun, like found some creative, fun ways to do some gift exchange, we would absolutely love to hear because we want to have fun with it. I mean, I think that maybe, you could quiz them. You kind of like the Guess Who game. You can ask 3 questions, but then it's like, well, if you're asking the questions, that pretty much lets them know. Ange had made another recommendation to me today that I haven't shared with you, but maybe that's something we can do as well. But again, we're kind of in the same thing. It's like, these are adult kids now. Our my nephews are old enough, and Lauren and Jackson, of course, and so.
Well, because we switched it last year, because years past you and I have purchased for our nephews,
Yeah.
and then they purchased for our kids,
Yeah.
but it's just like, okay, well, our kids are adult. They're all adults
Yeah.
now. So why are we still doing this? They can participate as well. So, but I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. And speaking of gag gifts, which I first of all, let me just preface this and say I love it. I loved it last year, and I love it again this year. But last year we had a little visitor after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Was it after Thanksgiving?
It had to have been, yeah.
We had a little visitor show up, and it's a little crocheted dicky-doo.
That's what Brian calls it, a dicky.
It's a penis.
Yeah. Has 2 balls and a penis.
Yeah, it's
and little eyes on it. Little eyes on it.
It's so cute, and I'll post a picture of it. But anyway, it showed up at our house last year, and Angie and Brian had gotten that for us. And so...
Which, if you know, my sister is, completely out of her comfort zone. But anyhow, funny gift. We love it.
Yeah, and so I put it out. So, of course, I had already decorated the entire house for Christmas. I'm the one who... I don't care about Thanksgiving. I mean, I do care about Thanksgiving, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to make it look like Christmas in the house. And so we did, and I put that out in the spare bath because I knew everybody would be using that bathroom during Thanksgiving. And so he's sitting there proudly right by the sink to greet everybody as they're doing their business and washing their hands, hopefully washing their hands afterwards. And so... he was out on display, and nobody said anything about it, actually. I actually was kind of surprised that nobody even mentioned it on Thanksgiving.
Well, no. Actually, I think Vicky did. I think Vicky was a little embarrassed because I heard her say something, and I think Angie kind of chuckled or something. But I don't know. I could not make out exactly what she said. So I think that embarrassed Vicky a little bit because she probably didn't know what to say. But anyhow... Shortly after that, I see my sister whisper something to Brian, and I now know that it was about the dicky-doo.
So Thanksgiving was on Thursday, and so it wasn't until, was it yesterday?
Maybe the day before, Sunday. Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday.
So basically Sunday, I'm just admiring. I'm looking around my house and I'm like, man, the decoration this year is so pretty. I'm like patting myself on the back, really is what I'm doing. But I'm walking around my house admiring everything. And I tell Kent, I said, you know what? I said, my favorite spot, my favorite decoration this year is the mantle by the fireplace. Now, our fireplace is not in the living room like normal. It's in this keeping room. Long story short, anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's so pretty. It's just got one little garland on it with the bells and one red velvet bow. And it's just my absolute fave. Look at this. That is something. And I'm telling Kenton, like, this is my favorite spot. And I was like, did you move Dickie Doo? And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, the penis, you put it on the mantle. Funny, real funny. Why did you move it? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, don't be stupid. He's like, I'm not. It's in the bathroom. I said, no, it's not. Go in there and look right now. It is not in the bathroom.
She was adamant.
Adamant. So he, just as adamant, he didn't touch it. He gets up and he goes to the bathroom. It's right there. I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like,
I'm looking at Dickie Doo.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe him. So I go in the bathroom.
Now we're both looking at Dickie Doo.
We're both looking at Dickie Doo in the bathroom. I'm like, I'll be damned. I said, it multiplied. We have another Dickie Doo. It was on the mantle.
Yep.
It was snuck in apparently on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
It took us until Sunday. It took me until Sunday to find it on the mantle.
Yeah.
So
we now have 2 Dickie Doos.
We now have 2. And so I think it's kind of turned into a tradition. So I kind of expect it now. Just no pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure, Welfords. But so I imagine, in the next 5 years, we're going to have a whole little gaggle. I
bet we need to come up with another crochet thing to like counter that with, and Melissa could probably make any crochet thing we need.
She could, but she's very much. she doesn't take orders very well.
Well,
She likes to give things out as she gives them out. She doesn't really want to take
that part
orders
is true.
like for you to like purchase from her. So I can't with her right now.
Again, it's not a live audience, Lauren.
Anyway, so that was so that was fun to see that. And of course I took a picture of it, and it's still sitting exactly where it was left on the mantle. So I've got them now on the mantle, and I've got it in the spare bath. So it's really cute. I'm really excited about that. My eye is doing this thing, and it is really bothering me. And it's been doing it for probably about a good solid week or so. Maybe a little bit.
Twitching?
Yeah, and it's a twitch, and it's only in my left eye. And I feel like it bothers me because when I'm talking to people, it happens, and it's like, to me, I've not seen it, but I feel like it's extremely noticeable. Like it like closing my eye.
Nothing like that. I love when my eye twitches, though. It doesn't happen often, but I like it.
I feel like, is there a meaning behind that?
I'm sure it has to do with the lack of sleep or maybe your allergies or something.
My allergies have been really bad.
I feel like that this is probably the worst
really
winter or fall, whatever we're in. I feel like this is probably the worst I've seen.
It was getting better, and for Thanksgiving, I switched out the Pura smells from the Capri Blue Volcano into the their fur, their balsam fir. And I'm wondering if that balsam fir, if I'm more allergic to that one than I am. Yeah.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. But I have to find a Winesgiving gift. I've yet to find...
You have some cool stuff you showed me.
Did I? What?
I thought you showed me some cool stuff.
I showed you stuff?
I thought you did. Yeah, you had them. You had them up on. Sorry about that. You had them up on your phone.
Oh, okay, I did. Well, we're running into it's next Thursday, and so I've got to really come up with something. And so, if I have a Winesgiving party, we do a Winesgiving party every year. My friend,
the girls
has the girls do a Winesgiving party where you have to take a wine themed gift, and now it can be anything. It doesn't have to be wine. It doesn't have to be a wine glass. It can be anything, but it's just wine themed. And we do a white elephant gift exchange or something along those lines and have wine, and we're in our Christmas pajamas, and it's just a fun night. And I've got to find a gift to take. So
we'll help
if you have any suggestions on that, send those to me because I'm struggling this year.
Or if you're potentially a sponsor and want to send us something, we'll be happy to promote it.
And Lisa switched it up this year. So Lisa hosts this party. This is her party. And so she switched it up this year. This year, in past years, she has had she's gotten a wine glass for us to drink out of when we get there. This year, we have to bring our own thing to drink out of. And it cannot be a typical wine glass, mug, flute. It has to be something other than actual drinkware to drink out of.
Oh, wow.
So
like a shoe or...
So I need some suggestions for that too. I need something crazy.
Wow.
Because I can't. You cannot outdo Nicole. Like Nicole, there's just no outdoing Nicole. And
I don't think Lisa would have brought that up if she didn't already have her thing
for sure. I think so.
So I think Lisa has gotten as creative as Nicole when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yes, I think so.
Nicole has always kind of been that person, but Lisa has, I think, evolved into that as well. So.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So I've got to, and that's typically as creative as I think probably I am, or people think that I am. I like that kind of stuff. I typically am not that creative with.
Yeah.
And
I think that you're indecisive on stuff, and you end up running out of time.
Yeah,
that's your weakness.
Yep,
So you could have great ideas, but you just continue to look at it, and the next thing you know, you're out of time, and you go basic.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anyhow, let's make like a tree and leave.
Okay.
Let's make like a ball and bounce.
Oh, okay. You got any more?
Let's make like a baby and head out.
You got any more?
Shit. Oh, I feel like I used to say one other one. It's not coming to the leave, ball and bounce. That's it. I think that's all of them.
That's all you got. Okay. Are we gonna go watch a Christmas movie, or are we watching something else?
Of course.
Can we play? Listen, if you do not watch Shrinking on Apple
TV?
Apple TV, you are missing out.
It's
it is
great.
the best. I would say, since I don't compare it to, but since This Is Us, it is the best show, 100%. I want every one of the people in this cast to be a person in my life.
Yeah.
Like, it is the best show.
And don't like for me personally, Annie loved season 1. I thought season 1 was good. I thought it was very good. I would say season 1 was probably like an 8. But to me, season 2 is like a 10. Like everyone, like like she's saying, like when you get to where you feel absolutely connected with each of these, and you know how like on those really good shows, everyone's role, they play it perfectly. And it's weird to say that because it's like, well, how do you know they're playing it perfectly if that's all that you know? But you just know what I mean. Like people used to say that about The Sopranos. I never got into The Sopranos, but people used to say that everybody's role, it was the perfect character for that role. And I would say that's how Shrinking is.
And what I don't understand is why have we not had shows like this on regular TV? Like This Is Us to me is one of those. Like that
And it was on regular TV, yeah.
Yes, but it was
it's money. It's all about all these subscriptions.
The actors are so freaking good.
Yeah.
It is just so good.
It's all about money. I mean, you think about how many movies. This is a prime example. How many movies now go straight to HBO, straight to Netflix, straight to Prime versus going to the movie theater? It's just, and I don't want to say it's COVID, but that really is what changed the movie industry and the television industry.
Yeah.
I mean, you got these actors that you've never even heard of or never seen before that are all of a sudden stars of the biggest shows out there. Because
so speaking of, Harrison Ford is one of the stars in Shrinking.
80, what did we say? 80?
I think it was like 81.
Yeah, 80, yeah.
And he's, I mean, it's great. He's so good in it. They're all so good in it. So if you've not watched that, go watch it. You will not regret it. It is so good. And I cannot wait to go see Wicked. And hopefully my person that I'm supposed to be, my broke best friend that I'm going to see Wicked with, see if she can fit me in this week. We'll see.
Yeah.
And if so, I'll talk about that next podcast.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Deuces.